Hey there, and welcome to the Academy. My name's Scott Armstrong, joined by co-manager Jason Langvey in Ontario. And today we are really lucky because we've got an unusual situation here. We've got Nate Behar here, who's a free agent wide receiver, who is also now dabbling, Nate, as I understand it, you're dabbling in the entrepreneurial realm.
That is right. Yes, thank you guys so much for having me. But I'm wearing a new pair of shoes, that's for sure.
Fair enough. So tell us a little bit about your business idea, because I know it has a lot of value to players right now in terms of possibly earning some extra money.
Absolutely, yeah. It's been an exciting year. Something we've been working on over the last 9 months or so. Been formulating and cooking behind the scenes, and we finally got to start out unveiling it to the world, to the masses, and most importantly to athletes like our CFLPA members. And we're building an influencer marketing platform to help athletes monetize their personal brands. I mean, we've all got a brand, whether we know it or not. We've all got influence, whether we know it or not. And there's endless brands out there in Canada and beyond that want to use us to share their messages and build great relationships with us. And I had the time and the energy to put some thought into it, and we've got a pretty amazing product we're excited to roll out.
That's very good. Just by way of, you're now dabbling in the tech world, the app space. Background in that, I just have to know, or did you just go, hey, all of a sudden there's a market void and I'm going to go see what I can do about it?
The latter, for sure. My tech space doesn't go much farther than Xbox or PlayStation, in my personal knowledge. But yeah, it was something that came up in the sort of end of last year, start of this year. To give a bit of a background on the story, I had obviously the athlete side of me knows the space decently, knows how frustrating finding brands are, that sort of thing. But I had a few colleagues, few friends who had different sort of like consumer packaged good brands and, direct consumer e-commerce sort of brands. And within about 3 weeks, I had 3 separate people reach out to me with, hey, when I go to market, do you think you can find me some athletes or some influencers that could help me, promote my brand? The first time you say yes, oh, I'd love to. Second time you say, yeah, man, for sure. Just let me know when. And the third time you're kind of missing the point if you don't stop and go, wait a second, why isn't there an easy Google link somewhere that you don't just go find? So I did it myself. I looked at the Google and I dug around looking at competitors and realized that there was a void here that was the size of Saskatchewan in the middle of this market. And so I decided to fill it, and that's what's birthed ATNMY.
So the last 9 months have been developing that platform, and you're getting pretty close to launch, aren't you?
Yeah. So we last 9 months have just been, kicking the can, asking every entrepreneur and CEO and founder I know how to not screw it up. And this first week of December, we're actually very excited. We just submitted to the App Store, so we're just waiting for our approval with the Apple App Store and of course Google Play Store. And then that first week of December coming up, we launch and start to hopefully make some athletes some money and build some relationships.
So if I'm a player right now and I'm listening to this webcast here, other than Jason's great smile, the real reason I'm watching this is you're going to help me align with brands to make some money based on who I am as a person and as a football player. Is that it?
Absolutely. So essentially what we're going to do is we're creating a marketplace where 2 sides of this equation come together, and I'm going to show some slides that'll kind of dive into this in some more detail, but a very, very quick overview. I'll give you my 5-second elevator pitch first in case you're not too tech savvy. And that is, imagine Tinder, but instead of finding a date, you're finding a business to promote. We're building a marketplace in that way. That is the most watered down version I can imagine. But no, we're building a marketplace where brands will be able to say, hey, I'm looking for athletes just like you. And athletes will be able to say, oh, I'm interested, I'm going to apply to you. Or of course the brands can go out and sort of cold call and cold message athletes on their own. But yeah, it's just a space to meet up with like-minded people. We didn't want to go and throw some wide net. We didn't want, makeup artists and the mom bloggers of the world and lifestyle. We wanted to make sure this was focused. All the brands here want to work with athletes. All of our athletes want to work with these brands. We know what we're getting involved with, and it's such a big market that's so untapped that we wanted to bring that together.
Okay, so I'm excited. Okay, and I want to make some money. So what are my next steps?
Absolutely. I mean, this week we're coming out, so it's going to be, you just have to visit us at ATNMYmarketing.com. So ATNMY.com. This will be at ATNMYmarketing.com. Sorry, that'll be at the end of the slide as well. Make sure that you see it nice and pretty. You just pre-register for the beta. There's nice big orange buttons that sign up for beta. You click it. You're going to leave us with your Instagram handle, your name, and your email, and the rest will be history.
So you've got some slides to show us then to get to do this. Good.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're gonna have some fun. I'll start sharing my screen if that's all right with you.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Nate, as you're doing that,
Yeah.
can I just appeal to the CFLPA member in you and the football player in you? And maybe in our early discussions, I know that we dropped our statistic in the fact that the average professional playing career in Canada for the CFL anyway is 2.9 years. And that's a short time where you have a very strong brand, isn't it? And is that something that you think that we need to potentially even talk about as a potential lead for our members here, and why it's valuable?
Absolutely. I mean, there's so much that can come out of influencer marketing. Influencer marketing is, it's really the tip of the iceberg. What we're really doing is we're creating a marketplace where you're creating connections with people. I mean, if you're an athlete, if you're a receiver, if you're an lineman, if you're a quarterback, all these different things, all these brands you're going to communicate with, all these relationships you're going to build can turn into so much more. I mean, you're building your personal brand, you're going to build your network, you're going to build your online reach, and all these people that trust you and listen to you and want to communicate with you online. But there's a lot to be said about doing marketing, talking with a marketing professional at a brand that you align with. Maybe it's a keto friendly pre-made meal packaging company. Maybe it's a sports specific nutrition company that you're going to work with. Maybe it's a athletic or wearable tech brand. And when you are ready to move on from your sport, you now have relationships in industries that you may not have had before, with people that you may not have known before, and that can go a long way in a lot of different avenues.
Fantastic.
So I'm gonna jump into sort of what I'm talking about here, guys, and I'm super excited. I mean, first thing, let me talk about the elephant in the room. The tech world hates vowels, which is why ATNMY actually says autonomy. To be autonomous, that's the power that we want to bring to our athletes. The whole purpose of our platform is to give you the autonomy to take control of your personal brand, to take control of your branding and your partnerships, and go out there and get it. So autonomy is for athletes, and it's by athletes. So our problem that we're trying to solve. Athletes, we all want to monetize our personal brands. We know that. We've all had the experience of seeing a guy who maybe barely cracks the active roster every once in a while, walk into the dressing room with 3 armfuls of protein powder and supplements and all these different things that he got for free. Whereas you've been starting for 4 years, you were an all-star 1 year, and you don't really know how to get these deals. This isn't necessarily due to your marketability or anything. It's just so much of this space has just been blind, dumb luck until now. We want to get paid for our expertise, and we want to get paid for the influence we have. But we just simply, myself included until now, didn't know where to go. I mean, it's simple. We could see protein company X on Instagram, but is it professional to reach out over DM? If I send a cold email to their marketing department, how do I even know if it's going to get to the right person? And even more than that, how do I even know if it's at the right time? Maybe they're looking for influencers now. Maybe they're looking for influencers in 6 months. I don't know that. And it stops me from going out and trying to find brand deals, because that's all time that I could be spending in the gym. I could be spending with a loved one. I could be spending doing a million other things. And when you don't know if it's the right time to reach out, then a lot of times it stops us from building those relationships. Our solution, I mean, we want to give athletes, as I already mentioned, the autonomy to apply to brands that they love at the right time. With autonomy, you know that you're going to be reaching out to them when they want to be reached out to, when they're looking to run ad campaigns, when they're looking to connect with people just like you. And this is going to allow you to monetize your personal brand and build those long-lasting relationships with industry leaders. One of the things that we predicate and that we're super, super big, firm believers in within our platform is that these connections, these relationships shouldn't be one post, one time, move on. We're not going to have sock company X give you $50, give you $100, give you $1,000 to post about their brand once and then never hear from you again. Marketing doesn't work that way, and these relationships shouldn't work this way. These should be long-standing partnerships. These should be 6-month campaigns with 4 posts over a few different months, a couple stories here and a couple stories there, building these relationships and continuing the conversation as well on our online, on our platform with the heads of marketing, with their partnerships committee, all these different things that they're gonna be able to say, okay, my connection with, I'll use Nate, who's smiling face, and his beautiful daughter Layla are on the screen right now. These connections, over 6 months, then turn into a year. Then turn into 2 years. And now you've been in the CFL for 7-8 years, and you've been working with sock company X the entire time, all the way through. These are where these connections really turn into something valuable, and not just for you. We say the exact same thing to our businesses and business partners on the other side, because that's how your audience knows you care. That's how they know that what you're trying to quote unquote sell or market is something you actually believe in, because they're long-term partnerships that aren't one-offs. I mean, we've all seen the fitness girl who smiles with a protein shaker you've never even seen or used before, and then you never hear about it again. That's not driving revenue. That's not driving sales. And that's not even a partnership for her. that's helping, or for him that's helping. So that's where we come in and help you build these long-term and long-standing relationships. Our tech, a bit of the nerdy stuff that I know Scott's excited to hear about. We're changing the industry standard by delivering a mobile phone application that's going to prioritize ease of use and functionality. And because you're our CFLPA members, and I feel like I can speak a little more candidly with you guys, the reason we did this is that so many of our competitors out there, which there are some, not specifically in the sport marketing space, especially here in Canada, but most of them are web-based platforms. You log in, you throw your email in, and you're going to just sit there and wait. Maybe somebody's going to be interested in it, and you'll get a little email to say, hey, come opt in if you want. That's not giving you autonomy. That's not putting you in the driver's seat of your own career. We don't need you to open up your MacBook and go to Safari and plug in whatever website and hope that someone's out there for you. We want to put something in the palm of your hands. You're between sets at the gym. Let's open up, see if anybody's there. You're at the grocery store waiting in line. Open it up, see if there's a job for you. We're changing the way that this whole industry works by making this thing easy to use, streamlined, and all very literally in the palm of your hand.
Very cool.
Yeah, absolutely. So how it works, this is now everyone, hopefully his ears are going to perk up a little bit, because this is what's pertinent to you. So on our platform, we walk you through the entire process, start to finish, all in, as I mentioned, literally one place. From the application, or sorry, I should even say from authentication, from you getting on the platform to applying to a brand, all the way to the moment you get paid in your bank account and goes a little more green than it was before, is all done within the platform. How it works. So these are all the features that we're going to bring to you. So you can find ad campaigns fast. What we mean by that is your home screen, imagine it just like the Instagram feed that you scroll through every day, or your Twitter feed, except for instead of individuals posts, instead of somebody in Tulum, or instead of one of those things, it's ad campaigns that are available to be applied for right now. So you can scroll for days until you're blue in the face. There's nothing left to look at. You can apply directly to these ad campaigns. This is like also where we differ from the competitors and different people out there, is that we're putting it in your hands to say, hey, tell them, write to them. They're waiting for you. Write, it's about 2 tweets lengths, write 200 to 300 words max, just about, hey, why you identify with the brand, why you're a particularly good fit. What about your audience, the people that that follow you, identifies with this brand as well, and how do your niches coincide? Why you're going to be a good partnership? Those sort of things sell. That's the difference between our platform and just doing it over Instagram, is that they're coming to ATNMY for that exact moment. They want you to apply to them and tell them why you're going to work. They don't want to spend hours and hours and hours researching your background. They want you to explain to them why it's a great fit. Also, we allow you to get paid how you want. This is another incredible thing I'm excited about. Some people, if company X, if New Era was on the other side of the line, they might, you might be willing to take a couple hats and a jersey and some nice sweatpants as payment. You might also want, hey, I want store credit. I just want to be able to go on your website and buy what I want. And of course, we probably all do want some cash every once in a while. So we actually allow brands and our athletes to split up how they want to get paid. You can get paid in cash, you can get paid in product, you can get paid in store credit, or a combination of all three. This allows you to get a little bit more flexible with how you want to work. Maybe some brands don't want to fork up the $1,500 that you're able to charge for your post, but you can say, hey, I love your brand. Give me $500 and I'll take that extra, I'll take an extra $2,000 in product. I'll take an extra $1,000 in product to make up the difference. So with that flexibility allows us a different sizes. Myself, I'm technically only a nano influencer just based off my followers. I'm under 5,000, but I can still charge a decent penny based on some engagement rates and things that we'll touch on. But some brands might not want to pay that. But if I love their brand, I'm going to say, hey, look, I'll take a little bit less cash. Give me some product. I'm still going to promote it because I love it. And I love the way what you guys are doing. And then of course, just the ability to chat with brands you love in a place that's built just for that. Their Instagram DMs are being flooded by people that, that don't have blue check marks and that are just, that are, maybe they're just fitness people from there or fitness people from here, or who knows what they are. They can't always get to there. On ATNMY, they know that they're talking to accredited athletes and influencers. They want to give the time of day.
Nate, can I ask a quick question?
Absolutely.
So, I'm new to this. I've never had any sort of, influence kind of as I go there. Do the campaigns let me know as a player how much they're willing to pay? Is it a negotiation? Mm-hmm. How do I know my value? That's, I guess, the question I'm asking.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we're going to touch a little bit on different, I guess, pricing strategies for influencers. There's sort of 2 main ones that we're going to touch on, but we want it to be a negotiation. We think that a lot of the great things that come from these partnerships happen in that negotiation phase. Talking to agencies, PR firms, et cetera, they all agree on the same thing, is that you don't really get to know somebody until you kind of chat. like, as much as you can say, okay, I see in your bio that you're vegan. I see that you are super green, and you don't like to make any carbon emissions, all the different things. How do I really know until we have a conversation? So how we do it is we allow the brands to display which types of payment they're willing to offer. And then you, in your application, you give a rough estimate, a sort of a starting place for them to see and for you to sort of start your negotiations off of what you'd expect from this entire campaign. So let's say there's a campaign that wants 3 posts from me and 5 stories. I'm going to pick a number. I'm going to say, I want $1,200 for this thing. It's just a rough estimate. And that's pretty much the benchmark where you guys are going to start your negotiations in your chat. They can now say, hey, 12 seems a little steep. We love what you're doing. Can we go down to 1? You say, oh, yeah, okay, cool. And then from there, conversations happen. And that's how those real relationships actually get built, is through those conversations.
Fair enough.
So a bit of what our app flow looks like. I want to give you guys a visual of how simple this process is. I mean, I can talk on blue in the face about the ease of use and the functionality and everything, but until you sort of see it, it's hard to believe. So this is very literally the flow you would see from left to right of how you apply to a campaign. We made up a lovely brand called Athleisure. They're trading on the TSX. They're $1 billion company, Athleisure. So they're essentially what you would see as an athlete. You'd be able to click on this from your home screen. You say Athleisure Spring Launch. It's going to give you a little bit of a rundown about their campaign. So there you see at the top their payment options. So I know now they're willing to do cash, store credit, and product. They've got all 3. That's awesome. I know that I can get a little creative and play with how they want to pay me. I see their campaign brief. They're running a campaign to introduce their spring athleisure line to the world. It'll showcase the versatility of their brand. I mean, I think I'm a versatile athlete. I mean, I play football. I train in the gym. I go for some runs because now I got roommates that run track, so they drag me out. I'm in the office working on ATNMY. My partner, she owns a yoga studio, so I think I'm versatile. I think I'd be a good fit for them. The deliverables are pretty reasonable. They just want 2 Instagram posts and 4 stories. I can work with that. That's it's not going to overcrowd my feed. It looks like they're spread out a lot, so I think this is a good fit for me as an athlete. One of the things I got to be conscious of is not overcrowding my feed with too much just promotional stuff. So 2 posts I can work with. So now I'm going to write them a little quick pitch. I think it'd be a great fit for your brand. I'm a professional basketball player from Vancouver. I'm currently playing in France. I love athleisure as a game day fit and at home, and an at-home fit as well, and to the gym. Send. I'm going to say the payment options I want. For me personally, I'm only interested in paper posts right now. My closet's full of athleisure. I don't need more product. So all I want is paper post. I'm thinking for the length of your campaign, about $500 is good to me. That's it. I hit apply and my application is complete. It's that simple. That's going to pop up on their side. They're going to be able to go through filter. They'll be able to see your profile, link to your socials, see the bio that you've made for yourself, and see some of your audience data and your analytics. So on the brand side, and of course, you'll be able to see it as well. They'll be able to see things like where your followers are. So where they're located. Are they in a place that fit for the brand? What gender, what percentage of gender, maybe you're 52% male, 40% female. Maybe you have 60% of your following in Canada, which would be great for Athleisure. It sounds like the Canadian brand. And of course, the age ranges of your audience as well. And they'll be able to see all that in there. And as well, your engagement rate, your average likes, and those sort of things. Then from you, so after you sent that off, you're sitting, you come back to your phone 8 hours later, the next day, 2 days later, what you'd be able to see is in your campaign tab, you'd be able to see your athleisure, you'd be able to open up that campaign and say, I wonder if there's anything going on there. You see a little orange notification sign. You say, okay, well, something's going on. So essentially what it would do is they would send you an offer. You can review it right there in the platform, and you're going to see exactly what they're looking to offer you. They're willing to do $300 in cash, $100 in store credit, and $100 in product. And also they changed up the deliverables. They got rid of one of those posts for you, so you didn't have to do as much work, and they're still willing to give you that $500. That negotiation went great. You got rid of an extra post. You don't have to crowd your feed while still getting the same dollar value. All you had to do was take a little bit of product and a little bit of store credit in return instead. And now you guys have made this relationship. You've created a great relationship. You both are on the same page. You work well with each other's negotiation styles. And now you're promoting a brand that you really love and believe in. You hit accept and it's done. From there, we don't have the slides up to show you, but from that platform, you'll be able to go and submit your content for review within our platform. So at any point before you go post, you'll be able to say, hey, Athleisure, this is the content I'm about to throw up. How do you guys feel about it? Here's the caption, here's the post, and they'll be able to accept it. Or they'll say, maybe we'd like you in some greenery. We don't really want you in a cityscape. We've got enough of that content. Or maybe we think, this would look better in the gym, that sort of thing. And, you at that point, that, hey, you're getting help from marketing professionals about how to curate your content. That's their job. If you're not necessarily the best content creator on earth, you're not the most creative artist with a Nikon, which is totally okay. you're actually getting the help from the brand about how to create content that they're going to like, which of course is usually a good sign that other people are going to like it as well. The $1 million question that Scott referred to. So how much can you make? What we have here is sort of two different pricing strategies. They're always the starting point for a conversation. As we sort of showed with that example with Athleisure, I mean, you're allowed to charge less. You're also allowed to charge more. For brands you love, like I know myself, if a huge brand came knocking on the door, there'd probably be times where I'd take a whole lot less money because it helps me to work with them. It helped build my portfolio, my brand as well. So I'm going to walk you through sort of the two solutions we have here. And again, they're just starting points for how you can begin to price yourself, sort of the frame of mind to have when you go into these negotiations. So the most popular one in the market, this is usually how most influencer agencies and whatnot price, is based on your total number of followers. The base of sort of the starting ground is usually that 4% number. So they usually start with 4% of your total following is the amount you should charge per post. For a set of stories, you would charge half of that. So you would charge 2% in theory. But there's a few assumptions that come with that. So the assumptions are that you're going to have most of your following in the country of that brand, which for ATNMY will be the case for most of our members. And most of our brands are also going to have e-commerce stores that go branch in the United States. So it works both ways. And then assuming that you have an engagement rate of around 4.5%, 5%. Industry standards around 4% for a decently sized influencer. I actually know from a study I've done of our CFLPA members that we're actually closer to around 9 or 10% average, which is a pretty darn great value for any brand, which is why I included here actually at that 6% of your total IG followers. So if you know your engagement rate, your engagement percentage, et cetera, which you will through our platform, we'll have that data available to you. That can also help how you structure your conversation around payment. A lot of the time people are going to pay based off your followers, but you can change the percentage that you're looking to get paid off of it, knowing that you have more engagement than most people. If there's an influencer out there, and I'm going to start throwing some numbers, so I'll try to go slow. If there's an influencer out there with 100,000 followers, let's say, again, a beauty influencer, but they only have a 2% engagement rate, well, that means only 2,000 people are engaging per post, right? So if you had, let's go nice, easy, a quarter less. If you had 25,000 followers, but had 8% engagement rate, the exact same amount of people are engaging with your post. So those engagements are very important to count, which takes us to our second one on the right side of the screen, as a way to cost out, because there's brands that'll have different campaign goals. So sometimes they're just going to want brand awareness, which awareness is just awareness. It's just how many eyeballs can we get on this post. And for them, somebody with 100,000 followers might be more valuable because simply put, more people are just going to see it. But some brands very much value engagement. And if that's the case and you know this, then you also know helping yourself price like, okay, yes, I know I only have 10,000 followers, but my engagement rate is this high, which means that I'm actually going to get you the same amount of engagement that somebody with with 50,000 followers might get. And so for you to know that about yourself and be confident in delivering that and be able to say, this is the reason I'm asking for whatnot, like any negotiations, just like contract time, that's going to actually help you to start those negotiations and have those hard conversations. So total followers is you either go 4%, or if you have a high engagement rate, you can feel comfortable and maybe go up to 5 or 6%. And those are some examples there. So let's say you had 10,000 followers. You could, get comfortable charging around, $400 or up to $600, depending on your engagement. 5,000 followers, you should be charging around $200, if not more, up to $300. On the other side, and this is one that I would suggest for people with lower follower counts to actually go with, because of the fact that you're going to have a higher engagement rate, more people actually engaging with your post, liking it, commenting on it, sharing, etc., based on the amount of followers you have, is a pricing strategy based off of the 1,000 engagements. So it's a wide range. So it goes from $250 to $750, and you have to use a little bit of self-awareness when using this. For most sort of newer influencers, people new to their space who may not necessarily know where their audience is, what their interests are, you want to stay closer to that $250. Maybe $300. Maybe I don't know. I don't know if my followers really love protein. Maybe they just follow me because they like me and I made a big play in college and they've all stuck around since. If as you get a little more comfortable, you've curated your audience, you're talking about similar things, you've sort of found your niche, and the people hanging around are interested in what you're talking about, you can start to raise that. My 1,000 engagements are actually now more valuable because I know that the people listening, the people that are looking at it, actually they give a damn. This is the sort of stuff that they're interested in, you know? So the 1,000 likes I'm getting are way more valuable now because those are people that are going to see your product and go, hey, I'll use that. Versus before, you know, people might be liking it because you got a pretty smile or big arms or something like that. So as you kind of grow and grow into your influencer and grow into your influencing and get more comfortable with how you're marketing, you're able to drive that up. You're able to charge more money. But these are great bases to start at, and this will all be information that we provide to our CFLPA members and all of our ATNMY clients.
That's very cool. And for guys who, you know, if you haven't reached those critical numbers to be an influencer, there is another webcast that Nate has done for us as well, which will be how to build your brand so that you are of interest to these brands as well.
Absolutely. And I think one of the main things I'll leave here is that a lot of people undervalue themselves in this influencer space. You know, there's a lot you see out there. You know, Kim Kardashian's making X amount of dollars, this people and that people, but you know, brands are usually coming to the table for influencers because they have the money to put into it. And I think that's a place where a lot of people sell themselves short and they get comfortable just taking product, or they're afraid to ask for too much and that sort of thing. But you got to be confident in who you are and what you bring, especially as athletes. You have so much influence. It's important to believe that and understand that about yourself, and really come to these negotiations with a strong idea of who you are and what you believe in.
If I was a player and I didn't really have an anchor as to where I should start, Nate, does ATNMY, you know, is there somebody I can reach out to sort of help get that ballpark range, or should I talk to some guys in the locker room? What would be your best advice?
Absolutely. I mean, our social media team is super responsive and is so excited to help out anybody in their journey. So that's on Instagram, that's at ATNMY _. So at ATNMY _. A DM is always welcome there. We'll be able to walk you sort of through that process and chat about, you know, where you think you should be pricing yourself. And again, like I said, it's always great to have a starting point for your negotiations. You know, in the CFL, our base is pretty well defined. It's 63K. You can't go any lower. So you can start there no matter what, and you can move yourself up wherever you want to go. And so here it's much of the same, finding somewhere where you know you belong, and then working based on your interest.
Well, Nate, to you and your team who've created this in 9 months, it looks highly impressive. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Very cool. So if you want to reach out to Nate and get involved, he's given you the Instagram piece, or you can reach out to Jason and I at the Academy as well. And we're happy to provide his contact information as well. Nate, I wish I was 40 years younger and talented, because I'd be using this kind of thing. So really good luck with your venture.
Thank you very much, guys. I really appreciate it.
Cheers, guys. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, Nate.